3, the chapter is named Maharaj Prithu's Going Back Home. So and it describes about Prithu Maharaj's Vanaprastha life, austerities, and his departure. And after his departure, how Archi, his wife, performs Prithu's funeral rites and enters as a sati into its flames. And then there is a description of the demigod's wife praising Archi because they both go back to the spiritual world, and people can, all the different demigods can see. And from 31 to 39 is the Falasruti, which describes that anyone who reads the description of Prithu Maharaj is actually, it says that 37, in verse 37, it says, the pure devotee while discharging devotional service must hear, read, and induce others to hear about the character and life of Prithu Maharaj. Hearing and chanting about Prithu Maharaj enriches one's devotional attitude, faith, and attraction to Lord's lotus feet, which are the port for crossing the ocean of nations. Bhava, Sindhu, Potapade. Thus one can go back home, back to Godhead, like Maharaj Prithu. So that is described in Prithu Maharaj goes back sword. Now this chapter starts with, the name is chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. So actually the chapter always, Srila Prabhupada gives the chapter title based upon what is the main context of the chapter. So this verse relates to that song sung by Lord Shiva, but just giving a background how we came to this chapter. So then there is a description of the genealogical tree line of Prithu Maharaj, that his eldest son Vijitashva gave other parts of the empire to other brothers. And then it describes about Vijita's wives and sons, and then retirement of Vijitaswa, and then the destination that he retires and goes back. And then it describes their sons, Havirdhana, and they have like 6 sons, Bahirshat, Gaya, Shukla, Krishna, Satya, and Jita Vrata. The example, why I'm telling that, because now I'm coming to this verse. So Bahirshat was a Prajapati expert in Karmakanda sacrifices and mystic yoga. So Bahirshata is also called as Prachina Varihi. So because he was assigned by Lord Brahma to become a Prajapati, Prajapati's role is to increase the population. So that role was given to them. So then Lord Brahma orders Bahirshat or Prachinavari to marry Shatadruti, the daughter of ocean. And it is described that Shatadruti was very beautiful, that even Agni, when the marriage was going on, got attracted towards Shatadruti. But then with their Prachinavari and Shatadruti after the marriage, they gave to 10 sons who are known as Prachetas, who were very equal in all vows and endowed with religiosity. They are very religious sons. They are equally able. So in 14th verse, it says that the Prachetas, being ordered by their father to beget children, enter the ocean for 10,000 years to perform austerities and worship Lord, Supreme Lord. So they wanted to go and perform austerities, please the Supreme Lord, and then come back and do their business, being a Prajapati. That is, we'll see if they go there. And then there is a description of what is called as Rudra Gita, that the song, Gita, the song sung by Lord Shiva in the praise of the Supreme Lord. So there is a description of Rudra Gita. So on their way, they meet Lord Shiva, who was pleased with them and gave them instructions. With complete control, the Prachetas meditated, chanted, and worshipped these instructions. And then when this was told by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, and then here Maitreya Muni to Vidura, Vidura asked, what happened to these Prachetas? I want to know more. What did Lord Shiva, being pleased, speak to Prachetas, meet him? Why he should? Normally Lord Shiva doesn't go very easily like to meet everyone. Why he met Prachetas? So how did they get his rare darshan? That's what the question Vidura asked to Maitreya Muni. So then in verse number 18 it says, Lord Shiva is self-satisfied, but to help people accomplish their material desires, he manifests in the material world, accompanied by his dangerous energies like goddess Kali and Durga, and started replying to Maitreya. Maitreya started replying to Vidura. The Prachitas, accepting their father's instructions on their head, went towards westward to perform austerities. So when they are going, they saw a very nice lake, which looks like a very oceanic, and it is very calm. It has lotuses and birds and a very festive atmosphere, and there is celestial music. And they started performing their austerities there. So when they were performing the austerities, Lord Shiva appeared to that stage. Appeared as with a golden complexion, bluish throat, and 3 eyes, along with his associates emerged from the lake. So Lord Shiva appeared from the lake, and Shiva was pleased with Prachitas. Because why he was pleased and why he gave darshan? Because of their knowledge of dharma and their good conduct. And he started speaking to them. Lord Shiva said, good fortune unto you. I know your plans and have come here to give you mercy. Because he knew the plans of them, and because they're going to meditate on the Supreme Personality, they are meditating on Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that to get his mercy. So Lord Shiva came to help. So then this verse comes, why he is merciful to the Prachitas. This particular verse comes after that. So just let's recite this verse, which is 4:24-28. Yah param ramhasah shakshat.
Yah param ramhasah sakshat.
Trigunat jiva samgninaat.
Trigunat jiva samgninaat.
Bhagavantam Vasudevam.
Bhagavantam Vasudevam.
Prapanna sapriyo hi me.
Prapanna sapriyo hi me.
One more time. Yah param ramhasa shakshat.
Yah param ramhasah sakshat.
Trigunat jiva samgitat.
Trigunat jiva samgnitaat.
Bhagavantam Vasudevam.
Bhagavantam Vasudevam.
Prapanna sapriyo hi me.
Prapanna sapriyo hi me.
One more time. Yah param ramhasa shakshat.
Yah param ramhasah sakshat.
Trigunat jiva samgitat.
Trigunat jiva samgnitaat.
Bhagavantam Vasudevam.
Bhagavantam Vasudevam.
Prapanna sapriyo hi me.
Prapanna sapriyo hi me.
Thank you. Please recite.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yah param ramhasah sakshat.
Yah param ramhasa shakshat.
Trigunat jiva samgnitaat.
Trigunat jiva samgnitat.
Bhagavantam Vasudevam.
Bhagavantam Vasudevam.
Prapanna sapriyo hi me.
Prapanna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please.
Yah param rah saksat.
Yah param ramhasa shakshat.
Triguna jiva samgnitaat.
Trigunat jiva samgnitat.
Bhagavantam Vasudevam.
Bhagavantam Vasudevam.
Prapanna sapriyo hi me.
Prapanna sapriyo hi me.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anybody else wants to try? Not, let's discuss this verse. So Lord Shiva starts saying this to Prachetas. He's saying, Yaha param ramhasah shakshat. Yaha is anyone. Param means the supreme or the transcendental. Ramhasah, of all the controllers. Ramhasah is this. Shakshat, directly, who is the supreme controller. Then Triguna, and he is always transcendental from the three modes of material nature, who the Supreme Lord. And Jiva Sangita, and living entities, like then he talks about who, there are two things here described. One is Parama Ramhasa, Supreme Controller, Transcendental, and Shaksha. And then the other thing is Jiva, who are under the modes of three modes, and they are called Jivas. Then it says, Bhagavantam Vasudevam Prapannaha sa priyohime. Whoever, which Jivas are Bhagavantam Vasudevam Prapanna, means Supreme Personality. It says Vasudevam here. Vasudeva refers to Krishna. Prapanna means who is always surrendered. They are very dear to me. That's why I came to see all of you, he mentions. So let's see the translation and the purport. First, read the translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please.
Lord Shiva continued, any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the controller of everything, material nature as well as the living entity, is actually very dear to me. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. So Lord Shiva is saying any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of God, specifically Vasudeva here, Krishna. So it just shows Lord Shiva's position also, and then how he is orchestrating the things, and how he is a Parama Vaishnava. The controller of everything is Lord Krishna, material nature, as well as the living entity. Everything he is control is actually very dear to me. And I'll read a little bit about Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's purport, and then we'll read Srila Prabhupada's purport. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, Shiva explains why he is merciful to the Prachetas. One who has surrendered completely to the Supreme Lord Vasudeva is dear to me. Who is he? He is superior to the subtle or Rahasaha, Pradhan or Prakriti. So his subtle realities is superior to that. Superior to the Purusha, Jiva Samgina. That means the Antaryami Paramatma. This is Sridhar Swami's explanation. Or the Lord is superior to Maya Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and to that which is more difficult to perceive, Rahasa, the Brahma without quality. So it is description of Rahasa, the word. Gita says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the basis of Brahma. Bhagavad Gita 18:27. The person who fully surrenders Shakshat to Vasudeva, not just offering karmas and not mixing the worship with worship of the devatas or jnana, is dear to me, and not the person who worship me. Lord Shiva is saying that. More people who are worshipping the Supreme Lord is more dear to me than the person who is worshipping me, because he is also a Parama Vaishnava. So let's read the purport and have the discussion.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now Lord Shiva explains the reason he has personally come before the princess. It is because all the princes are devotees of Lord Krishna, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Bahunam janmanam ante gnanva mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurabam. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Lord Shiva is rarely seen by a common man, and similarly a person who is fully surrendered unto Vasudeva Krishna is also very rarely seen, because a person who is fully surrendered unto the Supreme Lord is very rare. The Mahatma Sudurabha. Consequently, Lord Shiva comes especially to see the Prachetas because they were fully surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Vasudeva is also mentioned in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam in the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Since Vasudeva is the ultimate truth, Lord Shiva openly proclaims that one who is a devotee of Lord Vasudeva, who surrendered to Lord Krishna, is actually very dear to him. Lord Vasudeva Krishna is worshipable not only by ordinary living entities but by demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and others. Yam Brahma, Varunendra, Rudra, Maruta, Stuvanti, Divyai, Stave. Bhagavad Gita 12.13.1. Bhagavatam. Right. Krishna is worshipped by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Varun, Indra, Chandra, and all other demigods. There is also the situation with the devotee. Indeed, one who takes a Krishna consciousness immediately becomes very dear to anyone who is simply finding out and beginning to understand what Krishna consciousness actually is. Similarly, all the demigods are also trying to find out who is actually surrendered to Lord Vasudeva, because the Prajeta princess were surrendered to Vasudeva, and Lord Shiva willingly come forth to see them. Hare Krishna, I guess I can give somebody else a chance.
Yeah. So
Hare
anybody
Krishna.
wants to continue reading this?
Can I, Prabhu? Can I read?
Yeah, sure.
From Lord Vasudeva, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Lord Vasudeva or Krishna is described in Bhagavad Gita as Purushottama. Actually, he is the enjoyer, Purusha, and the supreme, Uttama, as well. He is the enjoyer of everything, the Prakriti and the Purusha. Being influenced by the three modes of material nature, the living entity tries to dominate material nature, but actually he is not the Purusha, enjoyer, but Prakriti, as described in Bhagavad Gita 7:5. Apareyam itastva anyam prakritim viddi me param. Thus, the jiva or living entity is actually Prakriti or the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. Being associated with material energy, he tries to lord it over the material nature. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15:7. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manasyashtani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. By endeavoring to dominate material nature, the living entity simply struggles hard for existence. Indeed, he struggles so hard to enjoy himself that he cannot even enjoy the material resources. Thus, he is sometimes called Prakriti or Jiva, for he is situated in the marginal potency. When the living entity is covered with the three modes of material nature, he is called Jiva Samnita. Jiva Samnita. There are two kinds of living entities. One is called Kshara and the other is Akshara. Kshara refers to those who have fallen down and become conditioned, and Akshara refers to those who are not conditioned. The vast majority of living entities live in the spiritual world are called Akshara. They are in the position of Brahman, pure spiritual existence. They are different from those who have been conditioned by the three modes of material nature. Being above the both the Kshara and Akshara, Lord Krishna, Vasudeva, is described in Bhagavad Gita 15:18 as Purushottama. The impersonalists may say that Vasudeva is the impersonal Brahman, but actually the impersonal Brahman is subordinate to Krishna, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14:27. Brahmanohi pratistaham. That Krishna is the source of impersonal Brahman is also confirmed in Brahma Samhita 5:40. Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. The impersonal Brahman is nothing but the effulgence or bodily rays of Krishna, and in those bodily rays, there are innumerable universes floating. Thus, in all respects, Vasudeva, Krishna, is the Supreme Lord, and Lord Shiva is very satisfied with those who are completely surrendered to him. Complete surrender is desired by Krishna, as he indicates in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 1866. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Shall I okay. The word sakshat, meaning directly, is very significant. There are many so-called devotees, but actually they are only karmis and gnanis, for they are not directly devotees of Lord Krishna. The karmis sometimes offer the results of their activities to Lord Vasudeva, and this offering is called karmarpanam. These are considered to be fruitive activities. For the karmis, considered Lord Vishnu to be one of the demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Because they consider Lord Vishnu to be on the same level with the demigods, they contend that surrendering to the demigods is as good as surrendering onto Vasudeva. This contention is denied herein because if it were true, the Lord Shiva would have said that surrender onto him, Lord Vasudeva, Vishnu, or Brahma is the same. However, Lord Shiva does not say this because he himself surrenders on to Vasudeva, and whoever else surrenders on to Vasudeva is very, very dear to him. This is expressed herein openly. The conclusion is that a devotee of Lord Shiva is not dear to Lord Shiva, but a devotee of Lord Krishna is very dear to Lord Shiva. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much. Now you can see how Srila Prabhupada clarifies all the points so beautifully. So many confusions may be there about Lord Shiva's position and how Lord Shiva is a devotee of the Lord and what he likes. But this purport clarifies everything. So let's see how Srila Prabhupada has put this beautiful purport. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So he's saying that what is the reason why I have come to see. So Srila Prabhupada quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvam mam prapadyate. After so many lifetimes, a jnani try to understand me. And when he understands of those, one who could see that of Vasudeva Sarvamiti, he sees Vasudeva everywhere. Sa Mahatma, that Mahatma is very durga. And to those Mahatmas, Srila Prabhupada says here that Prachitas are also coming in that category. That's why Lord Shiva also came to meet them, because Lord Shiva meeting to any living entity is also very rare. So here he says here. And then very nicely, Srila Prabhupada quotes another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Yang Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stuvante Vyaistavai Vedai Sanga Padakrupurashadai Gayanti Jahsamagaha. So that is actually there in the 12th canto. Beautiful verse there. It tells that all the different demigods worship the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna. So here it says that. And then in the next paragraph, he says how Lord Vasudeva Krishna is Purushottama. Purusha and Prakriti, there are two terms here. Purusha is the supreme enjoyer, and Prakriti is the enjoyed. So it's Purusha is the Supreme Lord. Ekela Ishvara Krishnam are Sabubhritya. All others are servants, says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Krishna is the real enjoyer. And we all, who are the marginal parts and parcels of the Lord, are Prakriti, or part of the Prakriti. But in Prakriti also there is a Para Prakriti and an Apara Prakriti. The Para is the one which has spiritual nature. Sorry, Para is the one which is not spiritual, and Apara is the one which is spiritual. So the soul in that Jiva soul is like more for example, superior to the apara nature of that. Apara nature is what? All the eight, like the eight, like what you say, jiva, like the bhutas, the pancha bhutas, which are there, air, fire, ether, all those five things, and then man buddhi ahankar, total 8. So those, but this apara prakriti is superior to that. So then he says, being associated with material, he tries, but the nature of this fragmented prakriti is, like, for example, jiva soul is that he tries to enjoy it, but it is not the thing. Why? Because he is conditioned by these 6 senses, and he thinks he is bewildered with those and thinks that he is the enjoyer. And then Srila Prabhupada again adds, by endeavoring to dominate the material nature, the living entity simply struggles hard for existence. So that is the, and then he describes Kshara and Akshara. Kshara is something who is conditioned. So all the jiva souls which are conditioned are called Kshara. And the jiva souls which are not conditioned, and why they are not conditioned? Because they are in the spiritual world. And you know that spiritual world is 3/4. Only 1/4 is material world. So there are so many living entities, majority of living entities live in the spiritual world. They are called Kshara. But Srila Prabhupada then quotes a verse from the 15th chapter, 15:18, where it says, Yasmat Kshara Atito Aham Aksharadapi Chottama Athoasi Vede Cha Pathita Purushottama. Krishna says to himself, because I am above all the Ksharas and also all the Aksharas. That's why I am Purushottama. And then Srila Prabhupada clarifies that what is the impersonal Brahma or the Brahma Jyoti. He says, he again quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita saying that Brahmano hi pratisthaham, that Brahma comes from me. I don't come from Brahma. So Brahma is one of the aspects of the Supreme Lord. It's not the Supreme Lord itself. So Krishna is the source of the impersonal Brahma. Even in Brahma Samhita it says, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. Yasya Prabha. The impersonal Brahma is nothing but the effulgence or bodily rays of Krishna. And in those bodily rays, there are innumerable universes. And that Brahma is what impersonalists want to reach. But again, if you are reaching Supreme Lord, impersonal Brahma is part of him. So why not directly interact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is actually encompassing all the qualities, the Bhagavan realization. One is supremely realized when he approaches the personal aspect of the Supreme Lord. Because in approaching the personal aspect of the Supreme Lord, one is also encompassing the impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord. He's already covered that. And then Lord Shiva is saying that he is very satisfied to devotees who are surrendered to Lord Krishna. And Krishna says how to surrender. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam praja. That's what Srila Prabhupada quotes here. And then at the end says the word Sakshat has come in this verse. Sakshat means directly, is very significant. So like it gives the definition of, like, for example, there are 3 kinds of living like human, because karmis, jnanis are category in the human race of life only. So these living entities who are humans, maybe karmis, maybe jnanis, or maybe devotees or bhaktas. But karmis and jnanis are not directly devotees of Lord Krishna. So because of that, they offer their result. The karmis offer their results called as karmarpanam. But this karmarpanam, because fruitive activities are there, so they are thinking that when I'm offering my karma to the Supreme Lord, if I offer to Lord Vishnu or Lord Shiva or different demigods, it's on the same level. But Srila Prabhupada categorically says here, this contention is denied herein, because if it were true, Lord Shiva would have said that surrender unto him. Lord Vasudeva or Vishnu or Brahma is the same. But Lord Shiva is not saying that. He is saying that he surrenders unto Vasudeva. And whoever else surrenders unto Vasudeva is very, very dear to him. And Srila Prabhupada ends this purport in a very beautiful note to understand. Conclusion is that a devotee of Lord Shiva is not dear to Lord Shiva, but a devotee of Lord Krishna is very dear to Lord Shiva. So now we can understand how can we become dear to Lord Shiva. By becoming a devotee of Lord Krishna, we can become also dear to Lord Shiva. And this is also corroborated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who says that also. So it beautifully says that Lord Shiva is favorably inclined to the devotees of Supreme Lord Krishna, and who is surrendered to Lord Krishna. Lord Shiva also comes and guides them if the guidance is required. As in this example, Lord Shiva is a Parama Vaishnava. So I'll pause here, and if there are any questions, any suggestions,